Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel for the next video. This video includes Interface Java Unit 4 Chapter 1. This video includes Introduction to Interface Java Beans, then Architecture of Interface Java Beans, Benefits of Interface Java Beans, Types of Interface Java Beans, and Interface Bean applications. So it starts with this chapter. Interface Java Bean. So basically, if you talk about the Interface Java Bean (EJB), it is a server-side component model of Java platform for developing distributed enterprise applications. It enables enterprise develop secure, scalable, multi-platform, business-critical applications as server-side components. It is a development architecture for building highly scalable and robust enterprise applications. And also, the application servers such as we can use it JBoss as well as the WebLogic. EJP 3.0 is being started after this 2.0. In this chapter, EJP stands for Enterprise Java Beans. It is an essential part of J2EE platform. This platform has component-based architecture which will provide multi-tiered, distributed, and highly transactional features to the enterprise applications. Now see the architecture of Enterprise Java Beans. EJB architecture composed of 4 parts as you can see here. Enterprise Bean Server, Enterprise Bean Container, Enterprise Bean, and Enterprise Bean Client. See, this is the architecture, the client, then server, then EJB container, as well as this Enterprise Bean. So Enterprise Bean Server, which is it is a combination of it supports the EJB server side component model. It has EJB container as well as Enterprise Java Beans. It supports the EJB server side component model for developing and deploying the distributed enterprise level applications. The responsibilities of EJB servers are you can say that management API, process and thread management, then database connection pooling as well as caching, and system resource management. The next one is Enterprise Bean Container. Enterprise Bean Container. So Enterprise Bean Container is a logical because under this Java server that will have an Enterprise Java Bean Container. So it is a logical construct which will have a full Java profile, and it provides runtime environment for Enterprise Java Beans. It also provides persistent management, and it is responsible for lifecycle management of the EJBs. The next one is Enterprise Beans under this EJB server. So EJB server is Enterprise Java Bean is you can say it is a reusable module that combines related tasks which is defined under the interface. It is a server-side component which are encapsulating the different business logic applications. And the last one is Enterprise Bean Client. So there are two different ways like we have to implement this Enterprise Bean clients in the remote client view as well as the local client view. If you talk about the remote client view, remote interface means that remote interface specifies the remote business methods that a client can call on the Enterprise Bean, as well as a local client interface. It is a lightweight version of remote interface where it can be called through the interface, this remote interface, but it will work on the local machine. Now, different benefits of Enterprise Beans. First one is client communication. Client communication, as you can say, the client which is offering a user interface must be able to call the methods of objects on the application server were agreed upon protocols. Session state management, it manages the different sections So in different contexts, I can see in context of JSP as well as the server development. Then transaction management. It also manages the different transactions, like some operations, for example, when updating the data must occur as a unit of code. If update fails, they are all should fail. So that means it will also do the transaction management. Database connection management. An application server must connect to the database, and often we are that combining the pool of connections for optimizing the resources. Then user authentication and role-based authentications. Users of the application must often log in for the security purpose. So basically, we will provide the user authentication as well as the role-based authentication for the enterprise Java beans. Asynchronous messaging. Applications often need to communicate with other systems in an asynchronous manner. That is, without waiting for the other system to respond. So without the acknowledgement, I can say we are sending the messages. Application server administration. Application server must be administrated like they need to be monitored as well as accordingly it will be tuned. Types of enterprise Java beans. The first one is session beans, the entity beans, and message driven beans. So there are three types of beans: session beans, entity beans, as well as message driven bean. So first we'll see the session bean. Session bean are non-persistent enterprise beans, and they can be stateless or the stateful. But we can define about the session beans. It can be have objects as well as it will be a short life. It is not persistent in the database. They can be stateful or stateless. It will execute on a single client, and it can be transaction aware. So these are the two different types: stateful session as well as the stateless session. Stateful session bean acts on behalf of a single client and maintains the client specific session information across the multiple method calls. It exists for a duration of a single client session. Stateless session bean, by comparison, it doesn't maintain any conversational state. That means it will not maintain anything during the conversation. Stateless session bean are pooled by their container to handle multiple requests from multiple clients. Entity bean are enterprise beans that contain persistent data that can be saved in various persistent stores, you can say. And we can divide into two different parts: bean managed persistence as well as the container managed persistence. Bean managed, entity bean that manage their own persistence are called bean managed, and the entity bean that delegate their persistent to their EJB container are called container managed persistence. Third one is message driven bean. Message driven beans are the enterprise beans that receives and process JMS messages. Unlike sessions, entity bean, message driven bean has no interface. In session bean as well as entity bean, it will have an interface, but message driven bean will not have an interface. They can be accessed only through messaging, and they do not maintain any conversation state. Message driven bean allow asynchronous communication between the queue as well as the listener, and it will provide separation between the message processing as well as the business logic, you can say. Now different applications of enterprise Java beans. EJB developer works within the EJB framework to take advantage of its built-in support for the features like transaction management and the security. So it is not required for the developer to make effective use of these features. With suitable servers, EJB applications can even make use of features as sophisticated as distributed transaction management with no coding whatsoever. What we'll use in the enterprise Java beans. EJB 2.0 introduces a very powerful persistent API management scheme which supports not only the persistent data but persistent relationship between the objects. Very cold, little coding is required to implement the such objects. So that's why we'll require this enterprise Java beans. EJB framework presents the EJB with a managed operating environment. For example, this framework ensures that the EJB instance is never executing in more than one concurrent thread. So developer doesn't have to maintain all those data, and also they are not concerned about the effects of concurrency on the data integrity. Container is also responsible for memory and resource management. So EJB developers don't have to be concerned with these issues. So these are the simple examples. Thank you.